My mic was muted. Oh my god. First I was screwing up on the rock and roll playing in the background for the first minute, and then my mic was muted. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. We've got Afterthoughts again, and we should have some of the guys coming in throughout the stream, so hopefully we got a few more souls pop up. But until then, we talk a little bit more Marvel. Howdy, David. How are you? Before we jump into all the Daredevil talk, how about a little Doomsday talk? We don't talk too much Marvel. We don't talk too much MCU or superheroes, just because, we're more sci-fi oriented, and superheroes are sci-fi adjacent, but adjacent they are. So we don't necessarily hold our hats on that kind of stuff. But today, we talk some Doomsday announcements real quick. All right, I'm going to go through this list. We've got a pretty good list. Is there a way to zoom in on here? Because I can see that it's kind of hard to read all that. Can y'all read that at all? Let me see if Avengers cast announcement. Let's see if I can find a better article that we can see everything a little bit better. Will IMDb have a better thing out there for us? How's that look? A little bit better? That looks a little bit better, huh? Blue Banner, thank you. And a howdy. How are y'all? Y'all excited for all the Doomsday stuff? Or Daredevil? We got all the D's, triple D right now. We got Chris Hemsworth back as Thor. Obviously, that is a big deal. We have Vanessa Kirby as Sue. No surprise, honestly. Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Also a not surprise. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. Also not very surprising. Letitia Wright as Shuri, Black Panther, of course. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, also of course. Wyatt Russell as John Walker and U.S. Agent, especially now that the dude has frickin', super soldier serum. It makes sense that he's going to be there. It makes total sense. Can't read any of this on my phone. Oh, God. Let me see just one more time. Let me see if there's another. Do y'all know any article that might be a little bit easier to bring up, that might be better visible? Superhero hype. I need a good list, y'all. How about Doomsday? I don't think that's any better. Is that better? Oh, yeah, that is better. All right. Well, we're sticking with you, IGN. Let's do this thing. Cool. All right. So, third time is a charm on our list here. Also got my photo taken with David Tennant. Oh, no way. Was it a Trek? Not a Trek. A con thing for not Star Trek, Doctor Who, whatever I'm trying to freaking say. Good Lord. Luke Cage shook my hand on Saturday. He says he is maybe in Daredevil. Ooh. I hope so. We were talking about it a little bit after, was it Outpost today? I think a little bit after Outpost. Maybe Sarah and I were talking about it on Sunday. Anyway, after Wilson Fisk is no longer mayor in Daredevil Reigns, I think is the comic story, they go over to Luke Cage as the mayor. So that would be kind of, I'm in. You got me. But just so we can keep going in here real quick, we have Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. Agent. That makes sense with the super soldier serum, of course. Tinoch Huerta Mejia. Did he have? I thought it was. Did he add a last name, or was just one or multiple last names? I guess. Tinoch Huerta Mejia, because I remember him going as Tinoch Huerta last time for Black Panther, as Namor for Doomsday. It makes sense. You need it, honestly. Changed that tablet, can see better now. Cool. After that is, of course, Evan Ross Baccarat for the Thing. Makes sense. Simu Liu is Shang-Chi. If he's not there with the bands and Doom's kind of focused on those bands, I guess so is Kang in a way. You gotta have him. After that, we have Florence Pugh as Yelena. She makes sense. I don't know if that's going to be our Yelena or not. Thunderbolts, obviously. This makes it seem like she survives it. David Harbour's right down there as well, as I think Hannah John Kamen as well. So there's a couple that seem like we could have some survivors here of Thunderbolts. But it could also, I don't know. I think it's probably those three. I think it's those three. There could be some multiverse stuff going on. Hey, look, Lewis Pullman as Robert Reynolds and Sentry. I think it's probably Thunderbolt surviving. I don't think it's going to be any multiverse stuff for that aspect. Maybe a little Yelena, but I don't know. I don't necessarily see that. Kelsey Grammer's Beast, though. Y'all pumped for that? That one's kind of cool to see him come back. The follow through for the Marvels is nice, and I also do like to see just Kelsey Grammer get some work. The dude's awesome, and his version of Beast was not the best part about X-Men The Last Stand, but damn near the best part of the X-Men The Last Stand. It's just so cool. And he's just perfect in the role. Him and Nicholas Hoult, both iterations are awesome. Oh, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres in The Falcon. I honestly, even though I didn't like Captain America Brave New World, I don't dislike Anthony Mackie. He's just the perfect sidekick role. And although he is perfect in that, character actor wise, Joaquin Torres really brought it. He or Joaquin Torres, Danny Ramirez at playing Joaquin Torres, did a really, really good job in that kind of secondary role. And I thought he was maybe not every bit as good as Anthony Mackie in that kind of like pivotal side character role, but excellent nonetheless. I'm actually excited for him to be there. I think he fits a really good kind of Falcon-y kind of guy. Joseph Quinn is the Torch to be flying right next to Danny Ramirez. Maybe they can have some quippy stuff fighting in the sky. That would be honestly pretty damn cool. I'm in. Does that sound cool to y'all? So far, any favorites, any standouts, anybody that you're like, why are they here? Or does everybody kind of make sense? Because they spent 5.5 hours on a live stream sending these out like every 12 minutes, and that is a bit much, I'd say. You know, of course we said David Harbour, but we have Winston Dukas and Baku. Yeah, I mean he's technically the king of Wakanda now. He has to be there. There would be Wakanda is the most technologically relevant kind of society on the face of the planet. They kind of have to be there. Their king would make sense. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Hopefully, is just surviving Thunderbolts. That would make sense. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. If he wasn't there, something would be wrong. Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Charles Xavier, is a little bit out of the blue. Not entirely, but I do like that they're actually bringing him back. Patrick Stewart will really need a wheelchair if he's still playing Charles. Like, actually, though, but it still makes sense. It works. It works. It honestly does. I'm not opposed. Ian McKellen is Magneto. If he's gonna go play freaking Gandalf again, let him play Magneto. Why not? Let's do it. And they both make sense. If this is gonna be the culmination of everything that was before, and the send-off, the true send-off to the previous X-Men, and the true heralding in of the new X-Men, you might as well have as many as you can. And Rebecca Romijn as Mystique and Alan Cumming coming back as Nightcrawler. I didn't see that one. Oh, and James Marsden as Cyclops. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, that's actually, I didn't see those three. Those three are very, 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 very exciting to me. Can they actually please have their moment? Please, please. Can we let them have their moments more so? Channing Tatum as Gambit. Hell yeah. Can we have Taylor Kitsch, please? Like, I love Taylor Kitsch as that as well. But both of them. Can we have multiversal Gambits just hanging out for a minute, please? But Channing Tatum, let him play it like for the long run, or just hire somebody younger and new. And let him do maybe like a little one-off or Elseworld kind of thing, you know? I don't know. But having them both. Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. Duh. And, of course, Robert Downey Jr. popping back in at the very end of that 5.5 hour freaking stream for that. Oh, my God. Before we jump into the Daredevil stuff, Mark was saying Kansas City Planet Comic-Con, you got to meet David Tennant, Alex Kingston, Christopher Lloyd, Vincent D'Onofrio, Andy Serkis, John Rhys Davies, Mike Coulter, Asif Manvi, and so many more. Ooh, no Vinnie Jones's Juggernaut, no surprise. No surprise when they didn't even have him in Deadpool. Like, no Deadpool Wolverine version of him. Like, come on, it's Vinnie Jones. He's not that busy. He's not busy, but he's not that busy. Like, he'll do a Marvel movie if you ask him. Like, I don't doubt that for half a second. Come on. Oh, let me clear my throat real quick, y'all. Whew. Okay, there we go. Alive again. Alive, well, kicking. And let's groove into some talk on Daredevil. Okay. Episode 1. Obviously, I don't like that Foggy's dead. I don't like that Karen is not a pivotal character within the series as of now. And I guess this is a good time to go ahead and put spoilers up for those who are not watching Daredevil or have not watched Daredevil. We did just lose a couple people. I feel like a few folks have not watched Daredevil. So that is going to be there. Yeah, so obviously the TV show starts with Foggy's death, and that is kind of a hard pill to swallow to start the show off. I think they handle it really well. I think to handle it in the way they have by going through Matt's emotions is kind of the only way to, not the only way, of course. I think it's the most straightforward and honest path forward versus trying to figure out, okay, well, this is what the city's doing. And it would have felt a bit lagging and just choppy to try to figure out, okay, so this is Karen's thought process for the next few months. This is, of course, Matt's thought process. This is what Wilson Fisk has been doing. He's been in the hospital. This is what Vanessa's been doing. Bullseye's been rotting in prison. This has been going on here. This has been going on here, so on and so forth. To just do it as a pick-me-up where Matt's life is now, I think was probably the best move. I think it was an intelligent move that seemingly only the original team could do, which is probably why they went back and hired them to do it. Thank you, Disney and Marvel, for doing that. This series has been so good. So good. If Foggy's dead, why has he still got his name in the starting credits? I've been thinking that same thing. Obviously, we didn't get a flashback of him in this last episode, but we got that little brief kind of... well, I guess it was a flashback of him. It wasn't like a new scene, though. It was just... same information revisited and just a little, memory to, jog a little PTSD for Matt for a second there. I don't know. That one, I don't know if they're going to slip anything in there where, oh, look, Foggy, I don't think he's going to come back to life, but multiverse can always happen, and I don't know if they're going to try to go that route by the end of it or by next season or something like that, but it is a little bit interesting. Oddly, even though every episode has been great, episodes 3 and 5 stand out as fantastic episodes of television. 3 is the trial. Oh yeah, 3 is the trial. Oh my god, so good. And the episode after is with Punisher. I don't think overall is as strong as an episode as 3, but 4 as if you're looking at the scenes individually, are some of the best acting in all of the MCU. The Punisher and Daredevil scene, I know Sarah and I gushed about it on, was it earlier today? Or who was it, Sunday? I think it might have been Sunday. No, it was today, because we had to, because obviously yesterday was when it came out. Or no, that was last week. Sunday. Whatever day is what. There's a lot going on. But one way or another, that entire episode was chock full of really good scenes. Every Vanessa and Wilson scene was really good. The Adams scene was just undeniably creepy and sinister at the end of it. And the Punisher and Daredevil scene is just bone chilling. But 3 and 5 were particularly good. And 5, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so episode 1, obviously, Foggy dies. Karen kind of exits the scenario for a little bit there. And Matt is not very happy. He is doing his law stuff and trying to just kind of suppress everything. The lady that Foggy seemingly liked over there, I do not remember her name off the top of my head. If y'all could help me out, maybe. She is now Matt's law partner, obviously, and sets her friend up with her law partner, Matt, of course. And that is now the shrink that is talking to Wilson and Vanessa for their marriage counseling. So that's really cool. I guess that kind of brings us a little bit into episode 2 as well. It reunites Wilson and Matt, Fisk and Matt at a diner in an also really powerful scene, which was really good. I really appreciate that they gave us some really potent action in the first couple episodes, including, I guess, the third episode. And none of it was super superhero-y. None of it was even like super Daredevil-y in the sense of how big, even though they are small fights, just like budgetary-wise in the original Daredevil show, they're big fights and they last a long time. The fights we've been getting are quick. They're quick fights, but they're potent. They're very potent fights. And that potency allows the tone to be placed per episode. And I think the fights actually place that tone each episode that we've gotten so far. And episode 5 was so good for that. But we'll get to that in a second, I guess. Episode 2, what else happens? Obviously, Bullseye's alive. He's going through prison. We see a little bit more of him. See some of that trial. We start the Hector Ayala stuff. Hector Ayala is episode 3, and that is freaking amazing. Like you're talking about, Mark. That's so freaking good. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it off the top of my head. Like, what were y'all's thoughts watching that? It was intense. I mean, in all the right ways that you want it to be for a TV show. It brought that old Daredevil feel back. While, like, I guess becoming more Christian McDuffie. There we go. Thank you, David. While it also brought a little bit more of that like law firm, law show sensibility kind of to it. I think more than we ever got in Daredevil. I think that was much more law focused than we got in the original series. I can't think of, and I might just be forgetting because it's been a while since I've seen the original series, but I don't think there was something in that show that was more law oriented. I think maybe some Hogarth stuff and Jessica Jones, and maybe a little Hogarth stuff with Daredevil and Foggy. But I don't think it was. I think that was probably the most law kind of oriented stuff we've gotten, and it was amazing. Howdy, Sarah. Howdy. Talking episode 3 right now, all the Hector Ayala stuff, and dang, it was intense, and it's so good. I don't think it could have ended any other way. I think it had to end with Hector Ayala dying. Obviously, that's where the plot is focused and pushing the story forward-wise. But from what was introduced at that point, there was no way he could keep going and just go. From the path that was laid out, there was no other clear path forward, I guess, simply put. The White Tiger had to go at that point. And the bad cops kind of doing it obviously makes the most sense and is what happened. But the dominoes falling into place have been such a joy to watch, and that was a sad joy, but it was a good one nonetheless, just because it's such good storytelling. It's just so well done, and to watch them fall into place, it's a little depressing, but it's so interesting how they do it too. The only part I'm not keen over is the BB Urich talking to the public video clips. Interesting. I wasn't at first. They've grown on me. I do like them a little bit now. I do get what you're saying, though. The BB Urich stuff, I was kind of like, what are we doing here? Obviously, it's a way to get the voice of the people within the show and kind of not have to toss. It's exposition without it. I mean, it by definition is exposition, but it doesn't feel as expository, if that makes sense. Rather than, all right, let's go to a newsstand and have a quick little like quippy conversation with the news guy, and oh look, that's in the back of a newspaper, and this is what's going on here, and it allows it to be a little bit more natural because of all the, especially the politics that go on in the show with Wilson Fisk being mayor now. I really do. Of course, we haven't even touched on that with oh my God, Sopranos. What's his name? Gandolfini's son. Whatever, young Gandolfini. He's in there and he's doing a great job. Great job. I don't remember the actress that plays Wilson Fisk's assistant. Not assistant, I guess. What would her job title be? Administrative assistant, and then the other guy is just kind of his mob boss assistant. All three of them play pivotal roles that aren't in your face, and they make the most of every moment of screen time that they have. They eat up every moment that they're there. But do we really care about the stranger on the street when there's so much more going on? Those strangers on the street make us care about what's going on. And also, don't think that they're just strangers on the street. I'm pretty sure some of those people have been victims of Muse. And then also, that one guy talking about spray paint, I'm pretty sure there's a good chance he may be Muse. I mean, there's a story within a story always, and I think that's what we're looking for with the BB stuff. There's a story within a story in journalism, and there's a story within a story within a story when you're talking about journalism within a movie. And I guess this is a TV series that has a chance to even add more to that based upon having an episodic structure. So there's a lot that they can slip in there, and although it's kind of not jarring, it feels a little bit outside of what we expect. I think it'll add up into something cool. Obviously, the team behind the show knows what they're doing, and if they do that right, they can craft something special. Sheila Rivera is Frisk's assistant. Thank you. I don't know. Does she have a comic book counterpart? I'm not familiar with that at all. Is the actress the same lady from LaGuerta from Daredevil? Not Daredevil, from Dexter, or is it a different actress? It's just she looks kind of similar. I've been looking to look it up, meaning to look it up. I just haven't yet. But yeah, no, the whole dynamic of the mayorship of Fisk opens the door for, I think, a Luke Cage to be mayor later. And obviously that's not the focal point about what's going on right now, but it's going to actress is called Sabrina Guevara. Okay. I guess I'm not. She looks familiar at least. But it opens up the door. The politics within this opens up the door for a crumbling New York. And maybe this allows, of course, the Avengers Tower to be taken over by the government. Guess what? No one was able to sell it, and it's kind of being forced to condemn or foreclose. Obviously, probably not that, but hey, maybe the government had to buy it at some point, and now they're converting it into something different. And they got it for pennies on the dollar because nobody could afford it. And Thunderbolts, that is the Avengers building, right? Yeah, duh. Yes, it is. Because the Baxter building, obviously Oscorp has to pop in at some point. There are a multitude of other places that need to pop up. But can they in a crumbling New York? I think is a question the MCU has to ask, especially with Doomsday coming up. I don't think we get those places until after Doomsday. Obviously, Fantastic Four, we will get a Baxter building of some sort, but that's going to be multiversal to some degree. So what does that actually mean? We will find out within the coming months. That summer, Thunderbolts Marvel release schedule real quick. Thunderbolts is May 2nd and Fantastic Four is July. Cool. Okay. She was in 24 episodes of Gotham. Guess who's looking at IMDb? Me. Gotham. Who is she in Gotham? She works at the precinct as well, right? She's a cop. She's a cop in Gotham, right? She's a detective in Gotham. She's kind of the opposite of Bullock most of the time in Gotham. God, it's been a minute since I've watched Gotham. Anyway, the Fisk stuff throughout Daredevil has been excellently handled so far. What has been y'all's kind of favorite part about having Fisk back? Do you like the marriage stuff? Do you like the suppressed anger running through the mayor aspect of everything? Or do you like maybe him actually having to run for mayor and gauge that? Martinez. Okay. Lieutenant Martinez, right? Or Detective Martinez, something like that. Knew she was a cop in some show. But yeah, no, she's a really good part of that show, and she has to be a foil to a lot of the. She's not a foil to Wilson Fisk. She's a foil to Fisk's instincts and his first and initial approach to things. And that's an interesting thing to see because he knows he can't do anything to her without screwing his credibility up in a lot of ways. And I think that kind of is interesting to see that hold back in Fisk and him having to normalize a bit with the actual intent of not normalizing at all and totally using all of this as a mask. And to watch that mask be put onto somebody that is not comfortable wearing that mask has been very interesting. And for him to have to delve into things with obviously Vanessa and their relationship has been very different than what you'd expect, but I think handled very, very well. She played Sarah Essen. Okay, that's gonna 1 second, real quick. Gotham. Is she a cop though? Yeah, she's a cop. Okay, yeah. Okay, she's a cop. I knew that. I was just trying to make sure. I was like, no way. Anyway, okay. Back to some Daredevil real quick though. Yeah, she's awesome in Daredevil. That whole like Fisk aspect of that, just having that relationship that kind of keeps him in check. Like it is a natural checks and balances that he has to keep inside of his brain that legally he has to keep. But we know Fisk doesn't really care about legality all that much. So who's to say when he's going to snap, how he's going to snap, why he's going to snap, or where he's going to snap? And it's going to be interesting one way or another. Do we think by the end of these 9 episodes that he's going to be able to get the project started and or finished over on the docks? Do y'all think that is something that is in the books? Imprisoning her lover? Totally normal. Yeah, totally. It's, that's just some, no mask at all. Hey, I'm Mr. Fisk. I'm normal. No, not normal at all. He's a megalomaniac psychopath that is so fun to watch. Terrifying to watch, but just you can't take your eyes off him. He's just somebody that when he was swinging last night in the episode 6 on Adam, oh, here's your chance. Take your swing at me. Here's a big old axe. The speed he has with that type of size. I know he's like getting bigger because he has to wear new suits now, but the fighting was just, it was immaculate. Oh my God. Yeah. You think he might get the project started? I think he might get the project started. I think there's a start by the end of the series. I don't know if there's a finish, but I think there's a start. By the end of this season, not series. And we see maybe it finished by the end of the next set of episodes. I think it's probably the only thing that he truly gets done as mayor. And that's when we might see Luke Cage step in and a reason to bring him back. Or, and that's when we show that Luke Cage was, stepping up into that kind of Kingpin-esque crime lord kind of role that was a little bit more than just crime lord, a little bit more businessman, but kind of shady businessman at the same time. He was becoming definitely Kingpin-esque. And to have the vigilante version of the anti-vigilante version of, the yin and yang of each other, essentially, will be awesome, I think, to really explore. I think the things that we see right now and just the depths of emotion it takes for Matt, obviously the fighting with his faith and everything in the middle of all of this is a very important part to Daredevil, and it's a very fun element to see involved again because I don't think the world's all that religious, and even his therapist's girlfriend is like, "Oh, you still pray?" I don't think too many people do, and I'll never knock anybody that does, and I'll never knock anybody that doesn't either. But it's such an important part of Daredevil, and to see him grapple with just the minute thoughts of how each small action affects, the larger whole in his life, and how he understands being the lawyer and Mr. Reading Comprehension has to understand everything all the time. He understands that that's not going to necessarily be sustainable for the way he has been living and the way he wants to live. And he has to literally let that demon back in, let the devil back in. And that's why he literally says, fuck it. And he opens up the door and jumps back in and says, I'm putting the suit back on. We didn't get to see him fight too much, and it was definitely some rusty fighting, which allowed Muse to live, but I don't think Muse lives in any other freaking situation. But that was so good. I don't know if Muse is obviously a bad guy. But he's painting like, remember White Tiger? Vigilantes are good. Is he? I'm not familiar very much with Muse in the comics. Are y'all feeling like there is some kind of obviously demented kind of guy, and I don't think he chooses his victims like Dexter or Punisher or some kind noble anti-hero, but is there some level of anti-hero, to Muse? Is he not a force for good, but is he an antithesis, not antithesis to evil, because he does some freaking evil stuff, but is there a level of goodness to the, is there a, oh my God, is there a level of necessity to the evil that he does, I guess? Is that the way to say that? Is he Luigi Mangione a little bit or something like that? That's joking, but like, is there, like, does he feel like there's a level of necessity to what he's doing? Obviously, the best villains are the ones that feel like they're justified, and he obviously does feel like he's justified. But with especially the anti-vigilante task force made of dirty, crooked cops that Wilson Fisk is putting out there and says, hey, I'm going to turn your body cams off and you can kind of do whatever the hell you feel like in the streets as long as it gets us less vigilantes. Is Muse ultimately the bad guy? Because Fisk is obviously entering some lesser bad guy territory and exploring what that is and can be. Is Muse kind of an exploration of the same thing in a different hand or on a different hand? Any thoughts on that, y'all? Because that's something I've kind of been thinking about. He thinks he's creating art in a serial killer way. Okay, that's true. The White Tiger murals, though, that's the thing that is kind of like, and he's obviously, he might just be pro-vigilante because he likes to dress up as like a super villain. Maybe he sees himself as a villain, but do you think he sees himself as a force for good of some variety, you know? Because I can kind of see him being a Zodiac or almost like a Joker or a Riddler where you just kind of like leave a calling card kind of deal. And be more in that artistic way. Obviously, he thinks it's artistic and he's Muse and he's putting out murals and paintings and things he deems worthy of a musing, I guess. But there's I obviously am grappling with the questions that they are putting forth as a series, and I like that the characters within the show are actively going through these thought processes as well. And Matt, particularly with all the Faith stuff, I think is going through the ringer with all of it. But every time we see Karen, which is ultimately not that many times, when we do see her, though, she's kind of putting on almost like a mask, like Fisk is, to hide that pain. Obviously, the pain is not... I think that the pain is the same that Fisk has, both in that they aren't able to show them their true selves, and one is because of a loss, and the other is because of a gain, which is kind of a nice dichotomy as well. I'd like to see that explored a little bit more. Give us more Karen scenes, please. It's a really kind of beautiful thing to see. It's just such an excellently written show so far. And talking about that, we did kind of skip over episode 5, and I know Mark and his girlfriend were talking about that a minute ago, and they love that episode, and I am right there with you. That is an episode where you could have very easily diminished Daredevil, because there's nothing about Miss Marvel that brings Daredevil up, you know. Obviously, if there are some amazing actors and with some really good writing and a really good team, people are capable of a lot more than you can kind of think of. Howdy, Monk. Yeah, I can't believe people not hanging out for some afterthoughts on some Daredevil. I'm kind of shocked. But Daredevil, I wonder where the Nielsen viewing is on Daredevil, because it was getting less views than Agatha all along, which obviously got a decent amount of views, and Daredevil's getting a decent amount of views, but it's not the largest show ever, which is kind of obviously not super surprising, but you think it'd be more popping than it is, you know? Think about episode 5, though. Yeah. Obviously, I love Ms. Marvel and Kamala Khan. Smart writing. Obviously, I love Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that show, as joyous as it is, and the family as amazingly written as they are, it's a very forgettable show. Great characters, but like, there's the plot was the Jinn, bad Jinn, kind of interdimensional Jinn. Like, I don't necessarily remember exactly what was going on, you know, and I'm usually pretty good about that kind of stuff. I'm usually pretty decent about that kind of stuff, and I don't know. I think it's a very forgettable show overall with amazing characters, and you remember the characters much more so than the show. I think that shined through with Yusuf Khan, of course, the dad here, and I think it was a very smart route to take going with the mom or dad, I think would have been the best grounding route to take there. And it worked. I think it worked excellently. You're hearing it here first. I'm predicting that the post-credit series for the end of the season is going to be post-credit scene. Words are just not working today. Post-credit scene for the end of the season is going to be the dinner that Daredevil goes and has with Kamala Khan, Yusuf, and the family. I don't think they're going to bring her in. I don't think they're going to bring her into the show. I think it's going to be just the post-credit scene. But the way they brought Yusuf in was, I think, really well done. The bringing back of the Tracksuit Mafia to have done that in the next episode is really interesting as well. It's the smart writing right there. It's every little minute thing that happens within the show has something meaningful that is going to happen later as well, or add up to something later. And just those little 5 robbers that are, hey, they've got to be having some boss. This boss over here, who's Luca? Tracksuit Luca. And here we are, to see him stepping up to Fisk that way. Maybe he's willing to step up that way because he has the diamond. I saw a lot of people kind of laugh. I kind of laughed because the second I saw the diamond, I thought of the butterscotch candies on the desk for Yusuf Khan. And there were some people who thought that, oh, is that an Infinity Stone? Is that the Soul Stone? Or not Mind Stone? Something like that. I think it was the Soul Stone. People were thinking that, and I get it. But the second I saw that, I was like, no, these writers are going to put that thing in that candy basket at some point. And I was so happy when I did. Like, I cheered. My roommate kind of was like, huh? And I predicted it just a few minutes before. It was kind of funny. I like that scene where Fisk upped the payment from the tracksuits. Oh, yeah. And I think that was almost emboldening for the Tracksuit Mafia. Yeah, same Tracksuit Mafia as in the same Tracksuit Mafia in Hawkeye. Yep. I think that was emboldening for him to say that. Obviously, Fisk is like, screw off, dude. You're going to pay me more money, and I don't appreciate you trying to treat me like that. Obviously, I'm the head man on campus, the big man on campus. Pay me. I think maybe with that heist actually not working. Oh, it didn't work. Never mind. They didn't embolden him. Maybe it just pissed him off. I don't know why I thought the heist went through for half a second there. Get on a train of thought, you get stuck on it sometimes. But I think maybe the failure in that, same thought process, different thought. Maybe the failure in that emboldened him to go approach and say, hey, you've kept us from being able to like literally be able to fend for ourselves and do the things that we typically would have done. Obviously not good things, but typically would have done. We're going to have to clap back a little bit, and we are seeing that clap back. And the Tracksuit Mafia bro is going to clap back here pretty soon, I think. I think this coming episode, are we getting 1 episode or 2 episodes next week? I think it's just 1 episode, then 1 more episode the following week, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, but I thought episode 5 was really well done. It's just also well written. 6 might be my favorite episode of the series, I think, so far. Hey, yo. Schmoop!
Yo.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Doing well, man.
Sorry for the delay, but...
No, literally not a worry in the world. I think I just kind of got all my thoughts out.
Beautiful.
Just went through literally all 6 episodes and kind of went over a little bit of the Doomsday stuff, too, which was fun.
Yeah.
At the beginning, by the way. I know Monk just mentioned that it's at the beginning. Yeah. What do you even think about Daredevil, man? It's so far, I've been freaking loving it.
Born Again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is by far and away. It might be the best thing on Disney Plus, like original content. Um, OG Mando still has a huge piece of my heart, But
I think it and Andor are for sure.
the Andor, yeah, which we'll be talking about here soon as well. But yeah, I mean, Daredevil he's always been one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I love that. I know it's a little bit worrisome for some people that wouldn't hold super true to, like, it wouldn't be as much as like a true continuance of the Netflix show, which I'm also rewatching at the same time. And I'm like, you know what? So the Netflix show, overall, the writing might be better, but I am loving all the other shit with this, like the MCU connections, the action. I think it's even like the acrobatics of Daredevil, which is like truly comic booky. So I'm thinking it's just as good, just with a little, like a perk, just with that extra oomph. But I mean, every character
doesn't hurt having a little Marvel money,
right? And I feel like none of the characters really missed a step, or the actors. Vincent D'Onofrio is still excellent as Kingpin. Charlie Cox is perfect as Matt Murdock. He's getting to that point of like, man, he might be the actor for this character. It's getting there, like an RDJ Iron Man tier, in my opinion.
He's right next door there for me, honestly. And same thing for Wilson Fisk with D'Onofrio. Like, he is Kingpin. It just works.
And then their dynamic is amazing in this. It always has been. They know how to work off each other. We haven't got too much of them together outside of that diner scene, but it's building up to it in some way. Great scene.
Such a good scene. We talked about it a little bit a minute ago. Like, probably, I don't know. I think the best episode overall, like Daredevil episode so far, has probably been episode 3, the Hector Ayala court case.
I was about to ask you that. Like, what do you think the best one is so far?
But that's like, I think the overall episode. I think I think that's probably got the weakest individual scenes, but overall episode works as an episode the best. Where 5, I feel like, could do that, but it also doesn't. It's not the same tone, and it could be another show, but it still feels Daredevil at the same time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching 5 because it seems like it's very much so a bottle episode. Like, it continues Matt's arc of like coming back into this vigilante mode. But then again, it just feels like I'm playing like Spider-Man PS4 or something, It's just like, okay, I was done with this situation, but you know what? People are in trouble. I might as well do this and take a break from the main storyline, And people are going to call it filler, but it's like, it's okay to have filler in television,
And the best part, like you just said, like it almost sneaks in that it continues his arc throughout the show, though. Like, he needed that to happen for him to actually go become Daredevil. Like, that episode had to happen. It sneaks it in almost, like, which is
agreed.
Nice.
It's without that episode, I don't think we get to the point in episode 6 where he just goes, fuck it, and then he puts on the suit and it's time, because he doesn't want anyone else to get hurt anymore for him not being out there. It's that great power, great responsibility thing that works for anyone, not just Spider-Man. It's like, if you have the ability, go do something about it.
Damn. And honestly, we've obviously talked about the smart writing in it, but it's just, so far, it's written so well.
There's a huge part of me in episode 5 where I'm like, all right. This seems like a moment where Spidey could come in, but it's just a bank.
My roommate and I, we were looking at each other like, is Kamala Khan back? Like, is she actually about to hop in the show? I don't think it's going to fit, but it could work. Like, how, though,
I could see her being in the last episode. I think it'd be similar to She-Hulk, how Matt's in the last episode for, like, this family dinner thing. But he's going to do it with Kamala instead, which could be cool.
See, my prediction is post-credit scene for the season finale. They're going to finally have that dinner. The post-credit for the season finale of this season is going to be the dinner with the family.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I see that being the only episode that has an after credit scene, and that'd just be a fun like callback to episode 5. Be like, oh, okay, I'll have dinner with you and your family. And then it could be a situation where Kamala's like, So, because her dad probably talked to him about, or talked to her all about what went down at the bank, and she's like,
Yeah.
"So you're the devil of Hell's Kitchen," it seems like, and then they would talk about. I mean, she's in California right now, so people are saying Young Avengers. I'm saying it might be West Coast Avengers shit going on.
It makes sense.
Power Man's coming out, or not Power Man, Wonder Man is coming out, and he's an actor in like L.A. So she might even show up in that show that comes out later this year.
She-Hulk, Wonder Man, obviously she's out there too.
And that was
And
already
her,
West with meeting up with She-Hulk. So
and
Karen,
you know,
and Karen lives in San Fran now, and so does freaking Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah.
And
I guess what is Kate Bishop? Is Kate Bishop Hawkeye now, or what is she technically? Because she's hanging out with Kamala Khan.
I'd say she. Well, no matter what, Kamala meets up with her at the end of the Marvels. Just the question is she still in New York City? Most likely, because I mean, Kamala lives in Jersey and Kate lives in New York, helping out Hawkeye Clint. But she could be in the West Coast, unless there's just who are these friends that she's meeting up with, you know?
Well, I kind of feel like we might get West Coast and Young Avengers at the same time, and kind of leave room for them to kind of part off, if that makes sense.
I see it being. You saw those, like the concept art for like Doomsday and Secret
War
leaked or whatever. And there's that one scene where it shows like all the Young Avengers and like other Avengers, like it shows Star-Lord there and shit like that. I could see it becoming like a buddy, like a road trip type of scene where you have like all these characters coming up to New York or wherever the hell Doomsday's taking place, like the true events of it before it gets too multiversal. Because I mean, Star-Lord's in Missouri. Again, you have She-Hulk, and you're gonna have Wonder Man and all these other characters on the West Coast. So it's like somehow
Star-Lord could find his way out west easy.
Right.
Mr. loves pop culture. Hey, I haven't been to LA or Hollywood ever. Let me go check it out.
Exactly. He could easily just be there on vacation because he's taking his time off, So it's like, why not enjoy Earth? He could have went to see the Grand Canyon for all we know.
Yeah, it's so good.
Possibilities.
Heyo, what is it? I hope everyone's well on what would have been the 94th birthday of Star Trek's original Commander Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy. Rip.
Rip,
Rip
indeed.
On a less joyous note, starting the series off with Foggy like that.
Oh, yeah.
It hits.
That
good decision, bad decision.
That intro scene alone is where I'm like, yeah, this might be the best thing Disney has done. It just took the first 10 minutes of this damn show for me to think that, because again, it incorporates the infamous one-shot take scenario with him fighting Bullseye, and you get Bullseye in a more comic accurate suit, which is sick. But then like with it ending with Foggy just getting murked and dying, and I'm like, damn, but how are you taking him out so soon? But there's a part of me that thinks he might not be dead. He could just be in witness protection. I know a lot of people are talking about that, and there was something that people brought up that I'm like, ooh, okay. So it's when they leave their firm at the beginning, pass by like some sign that has a certain number on it, and like if you take that number and take it to an issue within the Daredevil comics, that's the one where Foggy is like in witness protection. So that could be like a little too much of a deep dive, but I think it makes sense for the storyline based on everything that was going on with I can't even remember their friend's name, but the one whose apartment Bullseye was at that basically led Daredevil away.
It was like Daniel or something. It was some generic name.
But it seems like Foggy's getting a little bit too deep with some shit, so it's like I could see him being put in witness protection, and then he's a huge part of season 2. But it's that way of just having Matt be done with Daredevil, and this show is just about him coming back and being the man he's supposed to be. So that's why I'm like, and I could see where they were going originally when it came to not having Foggy or Karen, because I don't think they've been necessary.
Yeah.
Foggy's death is huge. Obviously, don't get me wrong. And then Karen's great in the scene she's in. But outside of like the first episode, we don't really see them. But Foggy's death is great for Matt because I love in episode 6 where he's just praying with Foggy's funeral obituary, right?
Uh-huh.
So, which I also love. I love that they're really staying true to the roots, like just like how the Netflix show was. How Matt Murdock he's a Catholic.
It was nice to see the faith brought back in because it hasn't been like a focal point, obviously. It wasn't necessarily a focal point in episode 6, but it was a pivotal part nonetheless.
Right, and it's a huge part of Matt's character in general. It's like why he doesn't kill, and so
which
nice to see that still being in the show.
Obviously, knows that Bullseye is still alive, but it's not that he's still alive. It's that he took the action with the intent to kill him. That is still doing that. Obviously, we know that, but there are some people that are like, well, he's still alive. I don't get it. Like, why is he going through all this? Like, let's just see Daredevil again. It's like, because how he spent how many years actively trying so hard not to kill people when the easiest thing over and over and over again would have just been to crack a few necks and keep moving.
Well,
and then he finally does it, and just getting through the thought process of that all, like, it would just eat you alive, It's
right,
just,
and that's why he hung up the cleats, put the cowl up. Yeah, so, but that's why, going off of that, that's why Matt's dynamic with Frank is excellent in any scene they're in together, and I can't wait to get more of Frank Castle. Because one, John Bernthal is one of the best actors working who needs to be in way more shit. But one, he is perfectly casted as Frank Castle, the Punisher. Also one of the best. I've always been pro. I love my Avengers. I love my cosmic shit when it comes to Marvel. Street level is my favorite realm within Marvel. Like Daredevil, Punisher, Spider-Man. Those are 3 of my favorite characters within the fandom. And I think they're all perfectly casted, so I'm amped.
Damn right, yeah.
I can't wait to see an eventual Tom Holland and Charlie Cox interacting on screen together in the suits, because we've seen it in No Way Home, but I want to see them in action.
Yeah, I get that Spider-Man 4 has to be multiverse kind of for just the time period it's coming out in.
Right.
But I was really looking forward to that Spider-Man 4 street level movie. I hope it's still an option for the 5th one.
I think Feige is somewhat setting up what comes after Secret Wars already. I think he just wants to be done with the multiverse shit, but he wants to end it with a huge bang, because obviously No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine are some of the best MCU content we've ever gotten, in my personal opinion. And a lot of that has to do with seeing these legacy characters come back. And based off these Doomsday's casting announcement, it's leaning in that direction again, to have these huge send-off for these iconic legends for these roles. And to go off my point of Feige setting things up, I could easily see whenever we get to Daredevil season 3 or Spider-Man 5, when that's after the events of Secret Wars. I think Feige's setting it up already, just showing the street level shit. And it's just because this multiversal shit happens doesn't mean that it has to end after, because there's always going to be the street level.
Do you think, because Spider-Man 4 was supposed to be street level before they decided obviously we're going to end up having Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back and probably going all balls to the wall. It makes sense. Yeah. And if it is going to be what the rumored, thought process is of it being one of 2 Battle World set films, obviously we're not going to get street level stuff. Do you think season 3 of Daredevil would be a good place to kind of maybe put that plot instead and work it into all of it?
I mean, hell, man.
Well, at the same time, we obviously are all clamoring. We want the Defenders back. Obviously, probably not to the same degree we got them, but maybe.
So my thought is, based off however this show ends or this season ends, season 2 is clearly, because I think Muse is going to be handled with, but this season's going to end with Kingpin in absolute power, like having the ultimate control by the end of it, where I think season 2 is ultimately Matt and Frank having to get people together to take on the vigilante task force, which would involve a Punisher, would involve a Daredevil, a Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, an Iron Fist, perhaps. You bring all these actors back, it would be sick. But hell, why not bring in the wall crawler as well? And that's how we can get that street level Spidey without it being a Spider-Man movie. And I understand there's the whole Sony rights issue, but it's like, fuck it. Why not? Hopefully they can make out some sort of agreement to make that happen. Because then it's like, okay, then we don't have to wait 5+ years to see Tom Holland and Charlie Cox interact again as these characters. And I think that'd be the smart way to do it, because then it's before all the multiversal shit goes down. Why can't we just keep this show in its little bubble of keeping it street level and not interact too huge within this universe, but still, being like, oh, we're in this universe, and you get Spider-Man in there? Like, that would be epic.
I mean, they've got to have something worked out where they can do TV. I don't know if that takes up one whole docket on their kind of
yeah, that's the question. Like, I think it comes down to how much
contract.
I would see it kind of being like the Chris Evans as Human Torch in Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's like it's clearly not a contract; it's just being paid to do it.
But like a one-off contract, and you can almost do that like episodically or something.
Right. And it could be that, or it could be, all right, so if you're going to have him be in Daredevil, this would count as a one film, a part of the contract scenario, because there has to be a lot more of this, like, within the contract itself. It might be discussed in some way, shape, or form if he is used for television. But I know that's why it's hard for him to ever appear in this stuff, because Sony won't do it. But again, it has to do with like this shared usage of this character and how there's a contract involved, and this contract's most likely is going to be about the films. So it's a pipe dream of mine. I think it's the smart move, and that way we get that we truly get to see this friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in some way outside of a movie, since we're going multiversal in Spider-Man 4. But I want to see this Spider-Man that Kingpin is talking about within this show, who no one knows, and who we also see at the end of No Way Home swinging through the streets of New York in a completely classic suit with no technology besides his web shooters. Like, I want to see that before we get to this multiversal shit where we know it's going to get nuts.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to get the multiversal stuff first, but they better.
We are, but so that's just the
go back.
That's the painful thing, It's just we're going to have to wait 5 years probably until we see Spider-Man do street level shit again. And some of the best storylines of Spider-Man are these very contained bubble things involving street level shit, And you can still make it epic, like do Sinister Six. That's street level enough. Spider-Man PS4 is one of the best Spider-Man stories I've ever seen or experienced, and it's Sinister Six, but it's still this young Peter. I mean, he's an older Peter, sure, but it's still, he's out of college, but he's still, paying rent in an apartment, trying to work a job, and still figuring out life. I want to see that, but I'd like to see him save civilians as well, instead of always having to deal with an Avengers level threat. So yeah,
I know we're jumping on to Spider-Man a little bit.
Yeah,
I think is going to be Jean Grey. I don't think she's going to be MJ, but there's obviously that not report, but whatever the rumor that it's going to be Tobey Maguire's daughter. I don't know if I like that.
I really think she could be Mayday.
Who?
Mayday Parker. I really think she could be.
Do you think she's Mayday?
Yeah. I think she's
Toby's that would be Mayday. It'd just be a grown-up Mayday, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. I mean, Toby's old enough to have this daughter that looks like she's maybe in high school, because, I mean, she's played a high school character in Stranger Things, or about to, so... obviously she's like now 23 or so years old. I mean, she still looks young. It's like Tom Holland, how he's still this guy in college who's like 27 years old. So it's like, but these are young looking people, and Toby definitely looks more seasoned now. So it's like, I could believe that Sadie Sink is Tobey Maguire's daughter is basically the gist of what I'm saying.
I don't think it would Stacy though. I don't know.
I think it's possible. I mean, just look at the track record a little bit. You get Bryce Dallas Howard and Emma Stone, both redheads who are playing Gwen Stacy.
That is true. That is odd.
Ain't it? But I mean, they're both good. I mean, Emma Stone is miraculous as Gwen Stacy.
Uh-huh. And anytime BDH gets to actually act, she is awesome as well. Maybe outside of Argyle, we'll forget that one.
Yeah, but Argyle was interesting.
That was just shitty writing. That was just, as much as I love what's his name behind all the Kingsman stuff, but
yeah, I hate seeing Matthew Vaughn not be top tier, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that is what it is. Think eventually we get Spider-Gwen then. I mean, totally.
I mean, hell, dude. I mean, I think there's a solid chance. I mean, there's rumors going around. I don't know if they're going to do it. I think it'd be pretty sick if they did do it, but how they might go Who Framed Roger Rabbit with these Avengers movies and have animated characters come into the fold. And, like, why not? I mean, it's multiverse shit. Like, have it get crazy. Have a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man interact with a Miles Morales straight from the animated, or Peter B. Parker straight up animated. It'd be sick.
Peter Parker just pops in like, I don't
Why
know.
not?
I like it, but I don't know at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't mind them coming into the fold. You see them animated. It's like how we see Donald Glover or Across the Spider-Verse. It'd be like that. It could be like that for a quick moment, and then they could turn into 3D like us, where you can actually have Jake Johnson being a Peter B. Parker in live action, which I think would be sick. I think he'd be great.
Would be fun. Oh, that would, to see them like mold or morph into something like that. I see. Okay, it took me a second to kind of catch up with it.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what I was thinking of, Monk. I was kind of thinking of like, would they just do one or the other? But to see them morphed like that would be a really cool way of doing that, honestly.
It'd be neat.
Maybe you have to almost do like an animated part of your film, like, and put your actual characters in the animated thing, like the Spider-Verse. But if you did it that morph way.
Yeah, I mean, that might be something they hold off on until like a Spider-Man 6. But again, like at that point, I think the multiversal shit's done. So I don't know. I think they were really on track to try to like have Beyond the Spider-Verse kind of be able to mold with Secret Wars, because they were supposed to come out roughly around the same time, but they kept getting delayed, and now it's like the time frame's not completely right. So I
now it's 28, right?
Huh?
Isn't it 28 and Doomsday 7 and
Doomsday's next year, 2026.
Secret Wars is next year, right?
Secret Wars is 2027. Doomsday comes out first.
Oh, Doomsday is first. Oh, okay, back to that.
All good. But Beyond the Spider-Verse currently doesn't even have a release date, so it's a tragedy.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 1 year after Across the Spider-Verse. That was always a bit ambitious. That was
crazy.
Like, no,
insane.
I wish. Freaking okay. The Spider-Man stuff obviously bring us back to the street level stuff, and there's so many good characters to do that. You can honestly bring Spider-Man characters, if licensed, of course, into Daredevil to kind of hit at that going forward. But out of the Defenders, who do you think is more likely to show up first? I don't think Iron Fist is going to be the person to do that, obviously.
Oh, I think clearly Jessica Jones.
You think over Luke Cage? Because all the Fisk stuff, the mayor stuff, Luke Cage is ultimately the guy that takes over the mayorship out after Fisk and I think Devil Reigns.
You're not wrong. I feel like Christian Ritter's just a bigger name. I think they want to go more above and beyond.
That, and she could be the PI that proves the crooked cops are doing things dirty and stuff, something like that.
Exactly. Just shit like that. And, I think it also comes down to, like, what was more successful, I guess. I know Jessica Jones was overall a way more successful show than Luke Cage. I know Luke Cage had its audience for sure.
Yeah.
But Jessica Jones, like for me, like Jessica Jones season 1 is one of the better seasons in television I've ever seen. And Kristen
David Tennant's Purple Man is just
Oh yeah, Kilgrave is one of in the show. I mean, I love Kilgrave in general.
Uh-huh.
But in that show, played by David Tennant, he that's one of the better villain performances I've ever seen. And I'm like, and I would say that about Vincent D'Onofrio right before then. I'm like, man, we're getting great content on television at this point in time. And I just thought it was always criminal what they did to, I know Jessica season 2, or did they do 3 seasons? I think they did 3 seasons. I think people like 2, but I heard season 3 was just complete dog shit. And I heard Luke Cage season 2 wasn't people weren't too happy with that either.
I liked Luke Cage season 2. I get why people didn't, but I did. I barely remember Jessica Jones season 3. I think that did happen though.
I'm pretty sure that was the season people were like, "Yikes, man, this show sucks." But and then of course it's Iron Fist, which couldn't even get a season 2 because no one liked it.
No, it got a season 2.
Did it?
And it was so much better than season 1.
Really, man.
Much, it wasn't like great by any means, but it was a significant improvement.
Huh.
Misty Knight was a lot better in that, and so was
Colleen, right? Is she in there?
Colleen Wing,
yeah.
Yeah, she was awesome in that too. There was kind of a co-lead kind of deal instead, and it worked better, I thought.
I do actually remember there being season 2. I just haven't seen any of Iron Fist, so I can't really talk much on it. I just know people really dogged on the first season. So I just know
David Wenham was good. Old Faramir did all right, but that's about it.
What was?
David Wenham, the actor. He was Faramir in Lord of the Rings, but he was the villain in season 1, and that was that was the only bit that hit.
Oh, okay, sick. And again, I like the actor who plays Danny too. I liked him a lot in the Defenders.
In Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah. Besides Matt, I like him probably the best in the Defenders. And again, that show's not great by any means, but I do like the interaction of the characters, all of them. I think all these actors are very good in these roles. So I would love to see all of them come back in season 2 of Born Again. And I know people are talking about it right now because, I mean, again, Daredevil needs a crew to take on now this task force that Fisk has made,
Time to start building.
Yeah.
I mean, Punisher probably counts for 3, but
Agreed.
It's fine, He's like the least powered of all of them, but I'm still choosing him before anybody else most of the time.
I know we're about to get some crazy moments with John Bernthal's Punisher, man. Based on a couple of these promos they've released where I'm just saying him and Matt fully teaming up, which we have never seen. Because, I mean, in season 2 of Daredevil, it's like we see,
it's that will they, won't they?
They show their interactions on the rooftop, and there's the ending of the show where you just see Frank, with the Punisher, logo finally with a sniper. And I'm like, dude, I need to see these two fight together. And not, actually be a team.
It's go time.
It's going to be hype.
I mean, there's people talking about, who can end up leading these different teams within the Secret Wars and Doomsday movies and stuff like that. And obviously, where are you going to put some of these street level characters? And one of the places you can do that is maybe leader of a team, maybe the strategist of a team here or there. And Punisher and Frank Castle is kind of somebody that has been floated around, and it makes sense. The guy's a tactician.
I mean, there's always Midnight Suns whenever that happens, hopefully.
Oh, you just said that as Monk said Moon Knight. Bring us Midnight Suns. Toss Moon Knight on there. Give us some frickin' Norman Reedus Ghost Rider.
Please.
Right now.
I've been kind of growing fond of the idea of Gosling being Johnny Blaze.
I guess I'm not opposed to it.
Norman would be excellent, don't get me wrong, but I can see Ryan bringing that performance. But
anything he wants to actually do.
I was kind of shocked to go back to the Doomsday cast reveal. One, I'm not really surprised by a lot of the people returning.
No.
I mean, sure, all the X-Men characters coming back is amazing. But I kind of already figured that was going to happen. What I am shocked, I'm more shocked about, one, I felt like they were gonna have like the last person. Yeah, sure, it was gonna be Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Um, he was always gonna be the last person on the last chairs, right? But
5.5 hours to get there, though.
yeah, that's actually criminal. But I was expecting there to be like a name that's like huge that has not played a role within the universe at all. Again, like if I saw Ryan Gosling's name on one of those chairs, for example, people would have lost their shit. You know, like people are losing their shit, obviously, for like an Ian McKellen coming back, for Kelsey Grammer coming back.
Yeah, those two were like, woo!
Yeah, no, Ian McKellen is where I actually was like, holy fuck, bro. Same with James Marsden. I think that's
yeah. What it was Marsden, and who are the other two right there? Alan Cumming and Rebecca Romijn.
That
really
was crazy.
Really happy.
I think that's nuts that they're bringing them back. I guess the question is, it's like, a part of me thinks they're going to do a part 2 of this, this exact thing that they just did. I think because I remember them saying before, like, it's supposed to be a 50-person cast, like a main character type of cast. And I think they only revealed like in the 25 to 30 range of people. So it's like, where's Benedict Cumberbatch's name? Where's Tom Holland's name? Like, where's a lot of these people's name? Like, are they just not in the movie and they're just a big role within Secret Wars? Like that, I think that's a possibility. Because again, like we're gonna get Spider-Man 4 in between that, and we could get the third Doctor Strange within that time frame too. Because again, for next year, I think all we really know is Doomsday's coming out and Spider-Man 4. Like, is there another Marvel movie coming out next year? I don't think there's anything really confirmed on the docket. I just know people have been talking about a Shang-Chi 2 or a Doctor Strange 3 or a Thor 5. But I see that potentially being the case. If we don't see two of the main characters within the MCU currently, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, I think it's because we're going to see them in their own movies, and it's like after Battleworld happens. And that could be sick to see Battleworld through these two characters' eyes. So, but I truly don't see a reality where Tom Holland's not in this movie. And that's why I think they're going to do a part 2. And that's where you bring in like a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on these chairs, you know? And
yeah.
And also incorporate some new surprises. Again, like a Ryan Gosling, you know, or whoever. I really think Ryan Gosling's going to be Ghost Rider. I really think it's leaning that way.
I'm okay with that, honestly. As I'm just stuck up on Norman Reedus. It's just so fun and perfect. But Gosling
is perfect.
He's his Memento character, not Memento. He's his Place Beyond the Pines character. Whatever.
Yeah.
Era movie I could think of. 45 character sounds almost low, you know?
Yeah, no Eternals. Yeah, again, like none of the Marvels are in this movie. I think that's bullshit. There's no way. But again, they're not going to reveal every single character. I'm actually kind of shocked that they were announcing like an Ian McKellen or a James Marsden or shit like that.
Yeah,
Alan filled into them. What's that?
Just Alan Cumming, James Marsden, the Romijins, even the Kelsey Grammers, like just to announce some of those X-Men and be like, oh, you're not going to surprise us a little bit or anything? I guess you do that almost like a tease, you know?
I think you could have just filled those seats with like, you know, like all three of the Marvels, Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch. You do that, and then maybe you can reveal Channing Tatum within this, and people would be like, oh, shit, he's coming back after Deadpool and Wolverine, and people would be hyped for that.
Yeah.
You know? And you can announce Patrick Stewart because we've seen him, and I would be okay with them saying Kelsey Grammer, but, like, any of the other three, like Rebecca Romijn, Alan Cumming, and James Marsden, that would have been way cooler to see on the big screen and being completely shocked, like how I felt for Deadpool and Wolverine when I see Jennifer Garner. You see Channing Tatum, like, I mean, that's sick.
Well, God, yeah, we expected Channing Tatum, but seeing Blade pop up and seeing Jennifer Garner were both. Jennifer Garner's like, okay, I could care less if Electra's here, honestly, but it was just like, oh, you slipped that one in there real quick, and it was just, it was a nice, yeah.
I mean, again, they're not going to show their whole hand. I think that's why they did this at the same time. It's like, oh, they feel like they can announce that we're getting all these characters, yet there's so much more. But again, the question at this point is, if you're going to have all these other characters that they haven't even announced, how are you going to balance that? For a 2.5 hour long movie, odds are the Russos did a great job with Infinity War and Endgame. Don't get me wrong, but Endgame was definitely a little more contained compared to Infinity War. So I'm going to compare this more to Infinity War, because Endgame was definitely more so just the OG Avengers until the end. But like in terms of storyline, like they were able to balance like what it was like 4 main storylines going on. Like you have the half the Guardians on one side, you have Thor with Groot and Rocket. Then you have what's happening on Earth, and then you have the Avengers who are going to space, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're able to balance all that quite well. So I'm just curious how they do it in this case. Like it could be a similar format.
Different sets of battles, of course, and that'll be one way to do it. But again, like you're saying, how the hell are they going to actually in a battle? Okay, you got your like commander, and then your sub commander, maybe your third person in charge. That's kind of like vying for charge at the same time, and then you got your squad. How do you give everybody on the squad good screen time and make it make sense? Like,
so I think I've somewhat come to the conclusion when I know what this movie is about, like completely. I think it's an Avengers versus X-Men movie just titled Doomsday, because the Doomsday plot is Doom making his way to Loki, who will be his molecule man in this sense to create Battleworld, right?
yeah.
So this Avengers versus X-Men will be the reality where Monica Rambeau is, and with Kelsey Grammer's Beast, and then there's going to be our Earth with our new Avengers, and it's going to be an incursion, and then it's going to be Avengers versus X-Men, where you're going to get to see all these OG characters fighting our new Avengers, and then Doom will get to Loki, and then it'll be like the Thanos snap at the end, where the world, like the MCU and the Fox universe no longer exists. Just like how it does in the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars comic, where it says, rest in peace, Ultimate Universe, rest in peace, Earth 616. And then it's the new age, like what's coming next. So that's kind of my headcanon right now, until I'm proven otherwise.
With that thought process, where do you think Namor would go?
That's quite, I mean, when it comes to the whole idea of the incursion, it's mainly going to be like, oh, we want to save our Earth because it's our home. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he could be like, you know what, screw these people. As long as you let me have Atlantis and leave me alone, I'll side with y'all. I'll save your Earth over their Earth, you know, or my Earth, you know. But
these people haven't been my friend in the past. Why would they now? Why should I help
them
now? Yeah.
It's cool to see that he's coming back, though, because I really enjoyed him in Wakanda Forever. As
the best part of that whole movie, I thought.
Agreed. I like the movie. I think it's a little weak in the middle there when they're dealing with Ironheart.
Just take Ironheart out, it's a better movie. Like,
I think so. I think it's actually really good. I just did not like the Ironheart shit at all. But again, I actually really like Shuri as Black Panther, and I watched it for the first time not that long ago because I didn't see it in theaters. I kind of wish I did.
Oh wow!
But I enjoyed it. The ending's really sick. But it's definitely in my middle ground and my middle of the road MCU, I would say. I believe I may like it better than the first one, low key.
Really?
I'm just not the biggest fan of the first Black Panther. I mean, obviously the performances are great.
The third act just it does drop in a big way.
I think so.
Those first two acts.
Where I think Wakanda Forever had an excellent final act. And for me, I'm big on sticking the landing. Like that's how you keep me after the fact of watching the movie, where it's like, oh, I don't have a bad taste in my mouth. I have
it's like, what you remember.
What?
It's what you remember. That taste in your mouth. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like not having the bad taste. I want to go back for seconds. You know? If I leave a film like being like, yeah, it was good for a while, and I just didn't love the last act, odds are I'm probably not going to go to the theater again.
Yeah.
But if the last act is remarkable, again, like a No Way Home or Infinity War and Endgame, I'm gonna go see that sumbitch well over
That
3
Infinity
times.
War last act.
Yeah.
It's some of the best comic book anything I think that ever will be put to screen, honestly.
Infinity War?
Infinity War particularly, yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Where I know with Spider-Man No Way Home, for instance, I would say that first act I don't love, but once it starts getting into the all the like the legacy characters coming in, like the second I see Otto, I'm like, oh, okay, it's time.
Uh-huh.
And by the point of like the spider sense scene in Happy's apartment, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a film that I'm gonna love forever. But
it just gets so much more solid because I don't probably have the same love for it. It's got a little bit too much nostalgia. It leans a little too heavy on that for me at certain times. But I went into it thinking like that, and like the entire first and second act weren't super strong, but were continuously like pleasant surprises. Pleasant surprise, pleasant surprise, pleasant surprise. Then the third act was like, okay, shit, we're into something fun here. Right. And it actually ended up being a really good time. Or DP3 might I have a different tune on that one, of course, but
which one?
Deadpool 3 for Deadpool Wolverine.
Do you not like Deadpool and Wolverine?
Oh, not at all. It's not an actual movie at all.
Whoa.
It's just funny. It's a bunch of fun clips,
but
it was needed for the MCU.
I love it, but yeah, you're right. It's not really a film. I get like there's not really a story overall there. It's kind of just it's a buddy cop road trip type of adventure movie is all I see it as. But I mean, again,
it's got some great scenes.
Yeah, remarkable scenes. So,
but just how good the first two Deadpool movies are, with being absolutely freaking hilarious as well. But like actually like being just such good movies too. Like Deadpool Wolverine I watched it 3 or 4 times in theaters, and I tried to make myself love it. It just every time was more disappointing. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I see why people love it, and I don't like to take away the joy in that,
I understand. Yes, your goal should be to probably try to make one of the best movies of all time in general, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's okay to have your popcorn flicks at the same time. It's that's why the Transformers movies have done so well. They're not great movies by any means, but damn, they're fun. At least the first 3 are fun to watch, in my opinion.
Totally.
There's got to be room for that. But then again, you'll get something like an Avatar where it's like, oh, okay, you have unreal action, unreal visuals, but a great story. And obviously everyone eats it up because it's one of the highest grossing films of all time.
So good and so like generic at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like
exactly. But I mean, it's okay to be generic because you know what people like. I mean,
definitely.
I like a hot dog. That's pretty basic, but it's good, If it ain't broke, in some cases.
Don't fix it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's I think the biggest thing that gets me upset about Deadpool Wolverine is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You were already making really good things and had like a good way of doing it. You didn't have to lessen it, but also there were strikes. There's so many different things going on during that. Like,
I think that did
draft after draft.
I think that did kind of keep it from being more on the top tier of MCU, because they had issues behind the scenes. Like there was just a lot going on with strikes and rewrites and all that. And I know Captain America: Brave New World had that a little bit too. What did you think about that movie?
I was about to say I haven't got to talk to you about that one.
Yeah, I realized that.
It was perfectly serviceable.
Agreed. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was a bad movie.
I don't have anything to say for it, and I guess I do have things to say against it, but the things I have to say against it are just like, it's like it doesn't ultimately matter that much to me. It was just a placeholder MCU thing, and it was not even placeholder. It was a place marker. It was like, okay, it felt like we were getting to a checkpoint. We just got our checkpoint in the MCU.
Yeah. It's not like, no, I'm with you. I enjoyed Anthony Mackie as Cap. I thought he did a good job. I think the whole last act was actually pretty damn good. I just didn't like a lot of the rest of the movie. But again, I like seeing Red Hulk shit. I like seeing that that one sequence above Tiamat. It seemed like a Top Gun type of sequence, in my opinion. Like just Sam with just flying around with Falcon, and how you have Red Wing with like Captain America's shield. I'm like, that shit's cool. That's some cool shit.
I wish they would just focus on just slightly more real physics.
Sure.
Like whenever we're in like cosmic stuff, sure, let's play around. But for Cap, like it's so physics based that I just need a little bit more base in reality. Like
no, I got you. Because I mean, it's Sam Wilson. I mean, he's the Falcon, sure, or he was the Falcon, so he understands how to fly this mech suit he has, right? But at the same time, Steve Rogers had a super soldier serum also, where I'm like, fuck me, dude. Sam, I don't care if you're wearing vibranium armor and have the shield. Your ass is getting fucked by Red Hulk.
Like, and it was just a slap in the face at the very end, because the third act does get a little bit better. You're like, okay, we're moving along. And then just to end it with, and if you're gonna end it with talking the freaking Hulk down again, like if that's the way we're going for it, it's gonna be Sam. I get that Sam likes the speeches, but we have Liv Tyler right here. She's right here, and just get her to come on board real quick.
It was cool to see her. I'll say that.
But if she was and obviously those cherry blossom fields, whatever, the trees at the end with that.
Beautiful.
10,000% CGI.
Sure. Sure.
If we're going to go the green screen route for that.
No, I mean, the visuals weren't necessarily beautiful, but like I think the idea of like Ross talking about how he would take his daughter out to see the cherry blossom, shit like that. I'm like, that's what's beautiful to me. Her
popping up would have just, you know?
Yeah. But it's also just weird how this movie was just like, it wanted to be so many different things. Like it wanted to be like a Winter Soldier vibe, but then it's also trying to be a sequel to The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. And Eternals.
And Eternals. So it's like, and you're trying to do this off two movies that the general audience, for the most part, did not fuck with. So it's a little odd. I think it was bold. I respect what you're doing there, because I like The Incredible Hulk and I like the Eternals more than most. And I like Falcon and Winter Soldier as well. So it's like, it's cool to see those three worlds collide a little bit through Sam Wilson's eyes. But again, like Wakanda Forever, it's in like probably my middle ground. I'm definitely going to want to eventually, probably right before we get up to Doomsday, I might do a new ranking of the MCU as a whole. If you're down, I think that'd be
definitely.
I think
that's a whole different animal now.
Right. Because I know I did that like probably about almost 2 years ago now. And it's like, oh, we have new shit. And also I think I have different opinions on a lot of the MCU now.
A lot more context around stuff now.
Right. But I guess we can go back to Matt a little bit before I got to head out of here. But
yeah, hour and a half into it. Probably not too much longer. Before we jump back to Matt, though, just while we're talking Captain America.
Sure. Yeah.
It only took the one scene in the movie. Bucky is just Bucky's Cap. Bucky is Captain America just compared to. I love Anthony Mackie to death. One of my favorite working actors right now.
I agree.
You put him on anything, he's going to deliver. He is one of the best working actors in that sense.
Sebastian Stan's scene was so sick, and I can't wait to see him in Thunderbolts. I think Thunderbolts is going to be the best MCU movie this year.
I like the A24 advertising too.
Love it.
Super exciting.
That trailer is remarkable. Also, and Sentry is going to blow people's minds, so I can't wait. And again, I have a lot of faith in Fantastic Four coming out. I'm loving the vibe they're doing. But there's something about Thunderbolts where I'm like, I think that's going to be the sneaky movie where this could turn out to be a top 10 MCU movie.
It's the one where people are still like, okay, It's a bunch of secondary characters. I don't think it's going to be any good.
But it's more personable in that sense. I'm cool with that. You're not getting
exactly.
It's like if you and I went out there to fight a fucking Superman figure, it'd be sick.
Yeah, I need that freaking soldier serum real quick if that's the case.
Oh,
Let me Red Guardian this stuff up.
Yeah. Right. But again, I think like having this weird group, it's like that's how you get some fun interactions too. Like I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah, and I really hope it gives. Obviously, Lewis Pullman got a little time to shine in like Top Gun and a couple projects, but I hope this is gonna be like, okay, now he's the same as his dad. He is like somebody that you can hire anytime, every time, like Anthony Mackie, and just have that delivered performance and then some.
The Secular Monk, I will say, yeah, I think they heavily spoiled Thunderbolts because it's clear, but also I think it's been pretty clear as day based off all the marketing. Taskmaster's probably dying the second Bob becomes Sentry. I think it's clear as day. She's barely in any of it. She's also a very hated character within the community. And the cherry on top is now this casting where her actress is not in there, where every other character from Thunderbolts is in that movie. So yeah, they spoiled it. But at the same time, I think it was always pretty likely what was going to happen, in my opinion.
People have to die in that movie, and people have to live in that movie. There's obviously going to be survivors. Now we just know who some of them are. Maybe not all of them. Some of them, at least.
And hell, dude, Bucky could die. Sebastian Stan could just be like it could just be a memory scene with Sam and Bucky interacting, and that's how that's what could push him, because they're just talking about Steve in this flashback scene, and that's what pushes him to assemble.
Yeah, and same with Yelena and Red Guardian, maybe, because Red Guardian is definitely set up where he could totally die in Thunderbolts too, as that kind of emotional send off.
Exactly.
Or we could just see multiverse characters of any of them.
Right. So I don't think it's likely, but I just think those are potential outcomes if we do lose one of these characters. But I think they all live. But besides Taskmaster, I think that's just what's going to happen. But you never know. I think there's ways to ride around that. I mean, they can be casted and just, again, be a flashback or multiversal, because with the multiverse, anything can happen now. Like we could see Sebastian Stan in this this other universe, where he's Captain America after Steve Rogers goes after Endgame. It could simply be that.
That's true. You heard it here first. Taskmaster is in the final 2 episodes of Daredevil again.
Breaking scoop.
Breaking scoop right here. No. Do we have 2 episodes left, or is it a set of 2 episodes and a set of 1 episode, or an episode, I guess?
We have 3 more episodes each.
Okay.
Only 1 episode each week, so we have 3 weeks left.
Oh, okay. I was thinking we only have 2 weeks left. Nice.
No, I think they simply did this 2 episode release for this certain bunch was because I think they understood that if they just released episode 5 after you end episode 4 with like you're showing Frank and like it's really building up Muse, and then you just have it be like an episode where none of that matters, like there's nothing really continuing.
Totally a little different too,
right? So I think people would have been pissed, but by having that and then you have a direct continuance of the main story after that, and you see Matt suit up, there's a lot less bitching, because it's like, oh, sweet, we got 2 episodes. And episode 5 was actually pretty good, even though it was filler, Yeah. But if they only released episode 5, everyone would be like, yeah, man, I mean, it was a fine episode, but fuck, dude.
It gives people time to be busy. Yeah. Right. Because I was thinking maybe they did that just for the sake of giving Andor a little bit more room to breathe, because obviously it's going to hit that Tuesday mark for us this is going to take in. Well, that's going to be so interesting with the 3-drop, 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 or is it 4-drop? It's 3-drop, 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 3-drop. Because it's 12 total, I think.
Yeah, I think, again, it's like every 3 episodes is like a year, like a year after the 3 episodes. So I think you're right. I think it'll be 3, 3, 3, 3, 12 episodes.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun afterthoughts, honestly, just because we're going
to. Yeah, no, that'd be sweet, because it's like we're getting a movie within those 3 episodes, based on this year that's happening within Andor's life. So that'll be really nice to talk about that.
And you know they like to go that full hour on each episode too, so we're gonna be getting like almost 2 movies like worth out of it, which is gonna be fun. I'm stoked.
No, yeah, Gilroy's able to get. I know he said he's like, yeah, I think I'm done with Lucasfilm after this, and I'm like, fine.
I get it.
Like at this point, you're probably gonna have so much content that's probably it equals more than everything George made. Like at least just the complete saga in terms of hour length.
Oh yeah, 24 hours plus Rogue One.
Yeah,
like that's plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, you basically more to Star Wars than George Lucas at this point. So there you go.
We may have to talk about it at some point. Get the Afterthoughts crew together and talk a little Star Wars. Obviously Andor, but you saw the not Section 31. That's Star Trek and not good. What was the George Lucas Star Wars show that was supposed to be?
Oh, dude, it's criminal that didn't happen.
50 episodes already written and like storyboarded. Just
TVMA. Each episode would be worth like $40 million. I'm like, okay, that's fine because guess what? You're putting bonkers money into something like Andor, where this shit would have had Boba Fett and been on Coruscant underworld shit. Like, come on.
If Andor, which I get why people aren't the biggest fans of it, and every time Justin has to talk Andor, it does crack me up. But like, I get it, I do. But it's so damn good. It's so damn good, and it is
I like Andor. I just don't think it's. I really like it. I just don't think it's like the best thing, but it's good. It's very good content, especially in this realm of us not getting the best Star Wars content. I think they're really going to cook with Andor season 2, because again, we're going to get Krennic in there. We're probably going to get Tarkin shit in there, and I actually think we might see Sheev and Vader in this. I really believe it. I think at least Vader for sure. But I could easily see, because again, we get Mon Mothma, all this political nature that happens in the first season of Andor. They could easily be at the Senate, and Sheev's giving some press conference, his State of the Union type shit, like I could see that happening. So I think they're gonna cook with this season. I'm amped.
I think we get Gale Erso, but do you think we get Jyn Erso?
No.
You don't think we get not Daisy Ridley? What's her name? Oh my God.
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones. There we go. Just in freaking Brutalist and all that.
Right. We might. I think she could appear in the last episode where it could be like some interaction they have within Rogue One that's off camera, but that's all I could see. I don't really see how you really fit her in unless she's a kid.
I'm thinking maybe like an epilogue is kind of, and show him actually dying and bring back, and maybe you get like an extra scene like what you said.
Yeah. I think there's potential for it. I don't know how likely it is, but it does close out this book in the Star Wars universe for sure. So
all right. Well, closing out this stream and closing out the book in the Daredevil show that we've gotten so far.
Right. I know I came in late, so I didn't really get to talk too much about it. So I just want to give a quick little debrief before we close out. One, I think the action is stellar. I love seeing Matt be able to fucking move. It's epic. The score is phenomenal.
So good.
His theme is epic. Like every time the main title plays, I'm like, oh, we're back. Again, Charlie Cox and Vincent and John Bernthal, they're all awesome in these roles. And again,
the Irish accent episode 5 was awesome too. You just made me think of that with Charlie Cox, but yeah.
Right. No, I mean, and I loved episode 5. I do think it's one of the better episodes within this season so far. Because I do like my bottle like episodes, where it's more personable. There's not too much going on. It's still like high stakes, but it's not. It's not world-ending shit, or it's not criminal underground. I mean, it is to an extent. Don't get me wrong, but it's still just simply a bank robbery. And again, when Matt puts on the mask at the end and fucks up the Irishman, beautiful. Episode 6, I love though seeing Matt born again as Daredevil. Muse is haunting. There's great callbacks to comics and the MCU as a whole within this show by bringing up Kamala. You see Swordmaster in there from Kingpin.
We didn't even touch that. That was so good. I love seeing Jacques. I forget his last name, but so good.
Yeah, and I love that actor. I think he needs to be in way more shit because he is phenomenal in Better Call Saul. He's the part of that show outside of Bob and Odenkirk. So, but also, what's his name? Whoever plays Nacho in Better Call Saul also plays Scorpion within Spider-Man Homecoming. Bring his ass back because that will be an unbelievable interaction between them.
Far Cry 3 guy.
Yeah. I think it's Michael something. I could be wrong.
Yes, it's Michael. God, I'm gonna Google it because it's gonna kill me. Keep going. Sorry.
No, but ultimately, this show is excellent. It's by far and away the best Marvel Disney Plus show. I couldn't even watch Agatha all along. I don't know how people love it so much. I really don't like it at all.
Did you finish it?
No.
All right.
Well, Mando, thank you.
Yeah, it was Mando. Yeah.
That was gonna blow. I don't even know how I couldn't even think of his name. Maybe I'll give it a chance.
Probably because we said Mando so many times and just talking Star Wars, you know.
I know, right? I know. I'll maybe try to give Agatha another chance. I just I don't know. It's not my thing. At the same time, the only
what's the last 2 episodes? That's the only I think episodes that are really noteworthy or not worth watching.
Should I just turn on the last 2 and be fine?
Yeah. Maybe because the first is it 7 or 8 episodes? Maybe the last 3. Because the first 4 or 5 are definitely. Obviously you write and stuff. You understand the 4 different demographics for film: below 25 male, below 25 female, above 25 male, above 25 female. This where most MCU is succinctly in that below and above for 25 on male and female and above 25 and male, and it does kind of falter in that above 25 female. This was made specifically for above 25 female, which is like your middle-aged wine mom show.
Yeah.
And it works. It's
and
fine
I'm not a wine mom, unfortunately.
Exactly. It was like, okay, I can.
I understand people can like it. It's just not my thing. Like again, I only really liked WandaVision when it was fully within each decade's a different sitcom.
Yeah.
It lost me towards the end. So and then Falcon Winter Soldier, similar. I had me more in the first half. Mm-hmm. But again, with this show, Born Again, there's maybe a weaker episode than another, but so far I have not been bored. I have not been disappointed. Every episode I have loved, and this is by far the best show they've made so far. I just hope it sticks the landing, but I have so much faith in it at this point. I know they will.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. The witness protection theory, I think, is a little more. I hadn't really even thought about that. I guess I've heard of it, but I haven't given much thought to it. But seeing his name in the credits over and over again makes sense. Obviously, he's not here. Why would he be there? If season 1, part 2 is not actually season 2, and it is season 1, part 2, and we get those next 7 episodes to finish out this next year, and that's just one long season. We're getting season 1, season A, season 1B kind of deal.
Yeah.
And that's when we get that witness protection. I can see that happening. And that makes a lot more sense why his name is in the credits for all of season 1 total.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I guess I want to give one quick honorable mention to Deborah Wolf. That's her name, right? Who plays Karen.
Deborah Ann Wolf, yeah.
Deborah Ann Wolf. She's barely in this. It was one specific shot where I'm like, holy shit, she's going off. And it's when she's pumping on Foggy's chest, and then she hears Bullseye splat behind her, and how she's like, please. And then just slowly turns because she thinks it's Matt. She's like, I just lost the 2 most important people in my life like that. And I'm like, damn, she kicked ass in that scene.
So good. I don't know how. I can't think of the guy that plays Foggy off the top of my head right now either. They both are such good actors, but
they are.
Deborah Ann Wolf, particularly. Have you seen her podcast she did with John Berthal on his podcast?
No, but I just watched his one with Norman Reedus today, so I might give that another listen.
Ooh. How was that? I need to.
That was good. No, I've been a little bit more on a podcasty grind because yesterday I listened to it was Drake Bell and Josh Peck. Yeah, on Josh Peck has his podcast. And he brought Drake Bell on. It's a part one that I think was almost an hour long. So I'd give it a watch. It's pretty sick. They're just talking about, how they worked together and how they were brothers and like everything that was going on with Drake Bell. And yeah, it's good. It's good.
I gotta say that can get happy, sad, complicated, funny, all at once, real quick.
Yeah, and they're on good terms now and all that. So it's like it's good. It's good to see. So it's like, all right, hell yeah. But yeah, I just want more Frank at this point. But again, it's Daredevil's show. My buddy Brandon, he loves Frank Castle. So every time he's like, "Where's Frank?" and I'm like, me and him, I would like to say I'm the Matthew Murdoch to his Frank Castle in our friendship.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I'm trying to bring him down. I'm like, dude, it's called Daredevil Born Again. We have to see Daredevil Born Again first before we see anything with Frank. Truly, all right. So just hold on.
I love that Frank was a pivotal part in that Born Again process.
Huge part. It's like, dude, like you have to let Foggy go or do something about it.
Say his name. No, say it. Oh, so good.
Beautiful.
Oh my god,
that's the best scene in the show, in my opinion.
Haunting. Like literally, I think Sayre and I were talking about it. Was it on Stargate Outpost today, or was it? Yeah, Stargate Outpost today. Right after we just were like talking about it for a second, and you can just tell. Obviously, Jon Bernthal's a world-class actor, but
unreal actor.
Went to frickin' 4 or 5 years of school in Russia for acting, and like went like all out. Every inch of that's displayed right there. Like I think that Hector Ayala trial might have been the best episode overall, just as like an episode.
Sure,
but particularly in 4 and I guess 6 as well. They're just giving scenes.
They're just epic because they're epic. Where again, we're still at the end of the day, like you're gonna get good television, but this is, it's a show about people wearing costumes, like fighting crime. It's like that's shit I want to see, but you can make good content around it. But again, like that's why I do love episode 3 quite a bit, for the sole reason where it's fully a courtroom drama, and that's some of my favorite stuff on television ever. Like again, I love Better Call Saul, and I love the first rendition of Daredevil, the show. Anytime they're in a courtroom, I'm like, oh, we're eating. Like, this is gonna be awesome content.
I was trying to think of that's probably the most court-specific episode we've ever gotten for a Daredevil episode.
Oh, truly, yeah. The closest we have
was Hogarth and Foggy.
There's like an unreal scene in season 2 where it's like Jon Bernthal takes the stand.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think it's the closest we have to like a full-on like courtroom sequence. But this episode was a full-on episode, just basically being in the courtroom, and I loved it. I ate it up,
and it was still intense. And talking about eating it up, those actors in every scene they've been given in the entire series so far.
Oh yeah, I love the girl who plays Angela. Right, that's her name.
Is that Daredevil's girlfriend?
No, she's good.
She's good too.
White Tiger's niece. I think I'm.
Oh yeah! Oh my God, she's really good.
She's very good. I've been really liking every scene she's in. And again, she's who becomes White Tiger, like the main version of White Tiger in the comics anyway. So that's pretty cool. So,
which, maybe a little Young Avengers. She's in the right area to be recruited. You might say.
Hey, Matt just met Kamala's dad, so there's that link. Once she gets the amulet, it's she could be on the Young Avengers. So
send the suit to the dry cleaners first, please. There needs to be some cleaning there.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I love Born Again. It's good to have a show to look forward to every week. I miss that feeling in general. I will say I loved the old show being where I could watch it all at once, but we still get to talk about it and have that hype. And it's that trade-off, It's like
I love it week by week because we can get this kind of like continual hype.
Right, and I respect that. I just remember just loving back when the old show was coming out, like getting 13 episodes all at once. I was amped. I'm like, I knew damn well what I was doing that weekend, no matter what.
that whole weekend just
Yeah. Because again, so I'm rewatching Daredevil, and we're in Defenders right now. We only have a couple more episodes, so me and my fiance are rewatching it all. She's
together.
But I can't wait to get to Daredevil season 3 because that's my favorite piece of Daredevil content I've ever seen in live action. I think Born Again might be able to surpass it, but again, I love season 3, so we'll see.
Fingers crossed. I mean,
but speaking of the fiance, she's just getting home from work, so I'm gonna have to cut out of here. All right,
it's go time. Well, last question before we go: do you think Muse is going to survive by the end of the season? Do you think he's alive, or do you think Matt either kills him or like Bernthal will pop in and do that for him?
It would be a situation with Bernthal or Fisk potentially taking out Muse. Because I could see it being an angle from the mayor taking down the serial killer could be like a huge way to get support. But I think there's a solid chance Muse makes it out. So I don't know.
I kind of think so.
I'm pretty 50-50 on it, honestly. I don't know which way I would lean.
We're going to have to talk about it next week. I kind of thought about it for a bit. Was how it is. Muse is obviously a villain, but how much of a villain is he? Because he's kind of supporting vigilantes. He's also supporting White Tiger and putting the murals out there. He's killing people and not doing things very nicely, obviously.
Right.
Like, he doesn't have a greater good in mind necessarily, but does in his own twisted way, is he trying to kind of at least throw out the bad, as in Fisk?
In a sense, that's a good thought to leave off.
Is he an anti-hero in his own brain the way like Punisher is?
Yeah, but just like the other side of that coin. You know?
Yeah.
It's like Harvey Dent in a way where it's like
yeah.
It's like the bad side is Muse and the good side's Punisher, but they're similar sides of the same coin. Or same coin, different sides, you know. So it's Frank's definitely more of the hero and this anti-hero, and Muse is definitely more of the villain. Based on how it's just the vibe, I guess. I don't know.
A lot of big vibes, yeah. Well, damn good episode. Thank you for coming and hanging, brother. That was fun.
I'm excited to do this again.
We got to talk some Invincible soon, too. We haven't even talked about that because there's so much stuff going on, but Invincible, man.
Oh, yeah. No, I was unable to really watch it. So I'm doing that now, though. So don't.
Hey, I was about to say, you're the, like, scribe of Kirkman over here.
I know I am. That's why I've been meaning. It's been one of those I've been meaning to catch up on. Whenever I have an opportunity to, I'm usually watching an episode trying to catch up. So.
Oh, just wait till Jeffrey Dean pops back.
Oh, I know. I'm amped. I'm amped.
Oh, it's gonna be good. You're gonna.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be down because I'm definitely gonna want to talk about that whenever season 4 comes out. So. All right, but I will. Yeah. I'll catch y'all later, though. All right.
Great episode. Thank you, brother.
Excellent, man. I'll catch you soon.
Okay.
Adios.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.